even better than a sale price is a one-day only price.
Woohoo.
I'm telling you, this is like really special at this low price. You're getting this gorgeous heart pendant. I fell in love with it immediately, said I have to wear that. It comes with a 24-inch cord on it. The size of the heart is just right, not too big, not too small, but it had to be big enough to get the tree of life on it. And look at that. Isn't that stunning? It's so very pretty. And of course, on the back is the high polished Connemara marble. It's really a gorgeous piece. And by the way, that tree of life is all done in sterling silver, isn't it?
We often in Ireland not only refer to the tree of life as under that phrase, but we call it the fairy tree.
Oh, that's right.
Because right out on the west coast of Ireland, where the wild Atlantic waves will buffet the trees and the foliage, a single white thorn tree standing on your land is known as a fairy tree.
Oh.
This is where the fairies live. They make their home underneath the fairy tree. So it's said that the fairy tree will connect the human world with the other world.
I see.
Our quarry is in a place called Lisúchtar. That's the Gaelic or Irish name, and when you translate it into English, means it's the upper fairy fort. There are said to be fairies living on our quarry. And Marty, when he's quarrying Connemara marble, when the colour is running right, he thanks the fairies for bringing us the beautiful colour. So the fairies, you know, they're also known as the Dina Ella, the other people.
Oh.
Because they live in this other world. They live below the fairy trees, they sing and dance. And if you have a fairy tree on your property, you will never ever damage it or cut it down, because if you vex the fairies, they might all seem to be gay and dancing. As you know, the fairies are dancers by nature. And this is where the role, by the way, of the leprechaun comes in, because that's why he becomes a shoemaker, because the fairies wear out their shoes and have to go to the leprechauns to have them fixed.
I didn't know
I'm kind of packing about 20 folklore stories here at the same time. So the symbolism in Ireland of the fairy tree is of this connection of our world and the other world. You're right, in other cultures and mythology, it is the tree of life. It is the tree that protects us and shelters us. It's the tree that brings us food. It's the tree that there stands and stands as a sentinel. The silver, the Connemara marbles, I mean, you're not getting a word in edgeways. You can sort of go off and have a cup of tea there, Mary Beth.
Okay.
But let me tell you about it's sterling silver overlaid on Connemara marble. We'll talk about the marble in another minute, but we've taken the sterling silver and we've hammered it out and flattened it that it actually folds over the Connemara marble. Now, when we have that done, we have a very generous bail on it. You see, we supply it with a cord. So if you don't want to use the cord, you just swap it out. You have a lovely bail that if you have is it an omega or omega? We have this argument ever.
It's no. Well,
I call it an omega.
Omega.
I call it an omega.
Well, we
say
omega.
Tomato. Let's call the whole thing up. We could set this to song. Anyway, so if you have a different chain, boys and girls,
like an omega. Although I will tell you, this one is going to fit. It would have to be a pretty thin, pretty narrow omega, but I just want to show you, you definitely could get a regular chain through.
Yeah, so if you would like to swap it out. But anyway, can you see the way, and I thought the way you held it there, you can see the way the silver is just overlaid and the roots and the branches pin it into place.
Yes, exactly.
And that's
see how
lovely.
It's really stunning, and it's actually very tactile. You know, a lot of times women like to kind of, play with their jewelry because that's why they wear it and to look good. But this one is one of those beautiful pieces. And, it's so fun to hear the Irish stories about the fairy trees and the tree of life and things like that. And whether you want to think of it that way, or for me, I feel like, when I think back to my family, and my mom had 6 kids, and, and now I have 4 kids, and I have a new daughter-in-law, and not new, she's been married 3 years, but anyway, she's going to give birth to 2 baby boys very, very soon. And so it's just like my tree of life keeps growing. The family tree. And it's it's beautiful symbolization of the family tree, of just the tree of life. And when you think about it, if you are at all Irish, and I'm not Irish, but I am Mary Beth McRowe. But I'm not, but here's the thing, if you think about Irish, if you're Irish, you have heritage that goes back for hundreds of years.
That's
and
right.
a lot of people, want to know what was the family name way back when,
That's right.
and
That's right.
It's stunning. You've never done anything like this before,
Not
I don't
like
believe.
this fairy tree at all.
Yeah.
This overlay look is lovely because I think it shows off the marble.
It does.
You can really see the beauty of the Connemara marble. I love just the way you can bring out the detail in the foliage and that kind of slightly not symmetrical. You see a lot of, certainly in ancient art, the fairy tree is very symmetrically drawn.
Yes.
This has that kind of random, that having been blown by the Atlantic winds.
Yeah.
And then don't forget, with this
Stunning.
Irish silver, this is something very special, which I'm sure Sinead has spoken to about already, is when we finish a piece of Irish jewellery, before we can send it out into the market, it has to go up to Dublin Castle, to the Company of Goldsmiths. Now, that's an ancient guild formed back in the 1500s. So it goes to the assay office first, where they will hallmark it. They will check it for purity, that the silver is up to the required silver 925. And then it gets issued with 3 marks: the silver 925 mark, the Dublin assay mark, and the maker's mark. So this can be traced right back to my workshop. So in terms of the family and the heritage, if you were giving this as a gift to your daughter in 20, 30, 50 years time from now, they want to know who made it, they'll find my mark on it. And
Isn't
that's something
that
really,
something?
really, really special. I think that's something which is very, which you're not going to get anywhere else. And then of course the Connemara marble, we haven't even had a chance to talk
Right.
about the Connemara marble.
So we will. And real quickly, though, I want to remind everybody the QVC price on this is normally going to be $82. And our price today, and today only, the lowest price you're going to see on this anytime within the next 6 months is $69.98. If you have a Q card, you can put it on a Q card for about $24 a month. And you don't want to miss out on it. It's a one-day only opportunity. Okay, show us these pictures that we
Real
wanted to
quick,
see.
this is Ireland,
gift
where everything
box.
where everything has come from today. Connemara is right out on the very, very west coast. That little bit of video footage we saw was in Dublin, where our workshop is. These are the hills of Connemara. It's in this area, just behind that mountain there, is where Lisukter, the upper fairy fort, where our quarry is. And there is Marty, his annual outing on QVC, the strongest man in Connemara. But you can literally see how the marble is hewn by hand. And when we were talking about the today's special value, and I've talked about that before, look at what we would normally use for our production. This is what we make our jewellery from.
Right.
So it is incredibly rare, incredibly scarce. Each piece is one of a kind. So the marble itself,
Wow.
this is how we would see it in the ground. You can see the striations just breaking through, and then when we cut and craft it, the 40 shades of green, your shade of green. I was actually just noticing the one you were wearing, Mary Beth,
Right.
is almost translucent. When you get the mineral serpentine,
Right.
it gives almost a translucent, it matches your sweater. That is a brilliant
Perfectly.
sweater. You are
By the way,
dressed,
this
girl.
sweater is coming up before too long, and lots of other sweaters, but this is gorgeous. Listen, I want you to tell your story about Connemara marble again when we get to the today's special value.
I will look forward to
And
telling it. So
I
don't
will
go away,
just-
anybody.
That's right. And I will say, if you're going to get this pendant, this is going quickly. A lot of people have already gotten on the phone line to get it. It's a very special opportunity to have sterling silver, Connemara marble, and a 24-inch cord to go with it, all for the lowest price you'll see anytime within the next 6 months of $69.98. Now, we also have something else that's done with Connemara marble, and it's a gorgeous antiqued rosary in a bronze tone. The crucifix